creator of all that is, ubiquitous, encompassing, profound. Tuning into this energy of the divine is humbling and empowering all at once. That is one of the mysteries, the minuscule and the majuscule. Our part right here, right now, is why we are here, why we are tuning in. We are our purpose. Consider no predator and no prey, just us awash in divine energy with all its movement and play. When we do this, there is peace within. When there is peace within, there is gratitude. Where there is gratitude, there is clarity and direction that we are here to take responsibility now that we know who we are. We are of source, of creator energy, and so it is.
Thank you, Charlie.
My pleasure.
My name's Ron Vroom, and I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. Today, our court served papers on 3 courts, a city attorney, a sheriff, and the court administrator for 2 courts in 2 separate jurisdictions. Following up what started out as a small claims court submission by me against the city of, I got a dog that needs attention, the city of Beaverton. And it was a simple claim, no big deal, for $8,000. It could have been for 10, and it was just a general claim. They arrested me without any documentation. They had no original paperwork. They just did it because they could. And I didn't like it, and they said tough. But anyhow, so I filed that paper with the small claims court, and the city of Beaverton has the choice to accept that, or they can counterclaim that and say, no, we want a jury trial, and that's their right. But as there is a man involved, it has to be an Article 3, Amendment 7 court, because I'm not the all caps version of my name. So they have to provide a de jure court. They requested it. They transferred it from small claims to a new jurisdiction. And the new jurisdiction says, because you changed the jurisdiction, I, Ron, get to change the claim. I can increase the claim. That's part of the deal. So I increased the claim lawfully and legitimately with incontrovertible evidence from one claim for $8,000 for fraud violating my rights when they arrested me without proper paper. That morphed into 5 cops in uniform, 2 detectives, a couple of city attorneys, a judge for the city. I think altogether there was 5 appellate court judges and another 5 Supreme Court judges, but all that's in the record, so we'll sort that out. And all of them were charged at 18 USC 3571, which says when you violate somebody's inalienable rights or unalienable rights or due process, that's $250,000 for each instance. And I have a whole bunch of instances there. And with just the incontrovertible evidence that's on the record that you read and don't have to judge, it's a done deal. So our paperwork now has been filed into what Washington County and the state of Oregon's judiciary circuit court for the county of Washington. They changed it from the Washington County Court to the Circuit Court for the state of Oregon for the county of Washington, which is another jurisdiction. And the paperwork we filed is a notice and demand with a caveat of, what is it? Will. A caveat of will. Look up will in the dictionary and see what it is. But anyhow, we have a caveat to will. And when you read what that means that it has to be argued in open court. And 3 different courts accepted our paperwork from the one Supreme Court on Oregon claiming original jurisdiction, Article 3, Amendment 7. So that was filed today. That's a hard thing to do. We have to present our people to their particular offices at particular times. And the professional ones say, hello, yes, you're serving here. Yes, I'll sign where it is. You want it stamped, and they stamp it. And you walk out, and it takes you 3 minutes. You got to drive there, park the car, walk, elevator, and all that stuff. But professionally done, 3 minutes, and drive to the next one. Professionally done, 3 minutes. And we now had the city of Beaverton, their city attorney, they had been served, and the office of sheriff and the sheriff for Washington County had been served. No problem, done in half an hour. Then the full force of the court with our new and proposed deputy marshal, our director, Charlie White, member of the action committee, Cynthia Palmatier, and me, the plaintiff or defendant, depending upon which court you're looking at, could not serve the 2 courts in the courthouse of the Washington County Court, the building, the original place. They wouldn't show up. They wouldn't come. They sent the wrong people. The people they sent said they had the title but didn't have the authority. And then, oh my goodness, it's lunchtime. So we can't do anything now. And he's in a meeting. And it was 2:30 before he finally showed up in his office. And then he was just as nice and stamped and signed the documents for the two courts, and everything was all good again. But they did their little torture chest first. During that time, in and out of courts and going through metal detecting gates, hands stuck in the women's purses. What is this? And oh, can I look at that? And the difference between, can I look in your purse? Yeah, you can look in it, but no, you can't paw through everything that's in it. Terrible. I mean, some really crude people. And then when I knock on the door loudly, if you don't answer your door, then I knock on the door louder. And if you should be there, then you should. And just it's because it's in the courthouse, that's not my issue. That they sent a clerk out. I looked through the window in a door into a courtroom. That's why they put windows in the doors so you can look through. And so I did. And I looked for a little while, and there was people in there and looking what they were doing. And the judge sent a clerk out to tell me that I was making him uncomfortable and I shouldn't look through the window anymore. I sent her away. That's the judge's problem, not my problem. But I speak too loud. And so then we had, I guess, 6 uniformed sheriffs there and two plainclothesmen that were there to testify, and people telling us to sit down and be quiet. And I didn't say one bad word. I had many opportunities. My initial response to that is not polite, but I was good. And I'm quite proud of myself. Cynthia did pretty good also, but Cynthia has maybe she wasn't as nice as I was. And we were talking to a 28-year veteran of the Washington County Sheriff's Office. She looked about 35 and she's in pretty good shape. And she's talked to us before. Cynthia engaged her quite well, giving her a good and then she looked around and says something like, "Where's the nice one?" And Cynthia points out Charlie sitting on the bench being a good girl. That's her basic desire, is to be good. And it's hard on people like that when everything around you is just confrontational and badges and guns and all these vibes of you will do as you're told, and all my vibes of, oh yeah, we'll put that where, but that doesn't work. You have to be proper and do a good job. Cynthia says to the sheriff, "Oh, my son, he retired recently as a deputy sheriff in Kern County, California. Now all of a sudden she's the mother of a deputy sheriff talking to a sheriff. And the whole atmosphere changes."
No, I'm going to interrupt you. It changed when that one guy in the suit was poking fun at his other friend that was in plain clothes that was there, that was a sheriff, but we didn't know that came up and talked to you, who was very, in my opinion, kind and gentle, and the guy started making fun of it, and the mom in me came out, and the disrespect. And I just looked at him because he didn't know that I could hear him or tell what he was doing. And I said that it was very rude and disrespectful. And it was a legitimate question, you know, who is that guy? Is he a sheriff? Because he wasn't in his, you know, dress clothes. So anyway, that's how that one went, Ron. I was already aggravated from them. I literally took my purse away from them. They decided on the second entry into the building when we came back to try to meet up with them again that they were going to that I had a set of tweezers in there, and they asked, you know, they said we need to find them and make sure that that's all they are. And they knew where, and I said, you know where they are in my purse? I take it, you know, because they said, well, yeah. And the woman opened up a little purse inside, and she could see where they were right off the bat, but instead she chose to take out every single one of my supplements that I have, and they're all identified. I have them identified as what they are. They're for traveling in case I start getting sick. It's like quercetin and quinine and that kind of stuff, and charcoal. And I got so mad. I'm just like, what are you doing? You know, and she started saying, well, you have a lot of pills and I need to identify them. And I said, no, you don't. Give me my purse back. And Charlie, who was her second time coming in, again, they found her breast spray, which had a tiny bit of alcohol in it. Well, the first time they rifled through her purse, and that Ron threw a fit about that. The second time they took it out and they wouldn't let her bring it in because it had alcohol in it. And I said, that's it. I almost lost it. I almost started yelling like you would, Ron. But I didn't. I just said, give me my purse back. It's going outside. You have no right or authority to go through my stuff like that. And I said, no, you don't.
Point of order.
Yes.
When you go to one of their buildings, take this or your facsimile. That's photo ID. Take that with you and nothing else. And then there's no problems or issues at all, ever. I learned that from Richard, and it's wonderful advice.
Okay.
We went in and out of that building, and they didn't like us. They didn't like what we were doing the last time we were there, and they don't like it anymore this time. And then they just start hard-assing you. And then it's away you go. You don't want that one. They're just looking to hit you with the stick and put you in jail overnight. Have a nice day. So there we are on after action for what happened today. If anybody's got a question, I'd be happy to answer it if I can. My dog is demanding attention. So unless there's questions or additions, I yield. My name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. I've got a few words I'd like to read. There is a shibboleth among the people of the words. Quote, your provenance unique on earth from the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. Read the opening paragraphs again. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to, one, dissolve the political bonds which have connected them with another, and two, to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitles them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should, 3, declare the cause which impel them to a separate, to a separation, 1776. Then 1777, Confederation and Perpetual Unions articles styled the United States of America's apostrophe S Constitution 1859, prior to 1861. Their United States of Washington District of Columbia, Inc., in some form, is the de facto. We are sovereign. See http://www.1215.org for the Bouvier Dictionary. All of us are sovereigns, only us and kings and other governments. There is also de facto and de jure, page 416, Black 6th edition, illegal or illegitimate. They changed the definitions in Black's 11th. So, only you can obtain and hold the mindset. No one can do it for you. You cannot do it alone. The remedy is the shibboleth. Among all of us, with the goal of returning to a constitutional Republican form of government this year, 2024, a working solution is to follow the prompts, assemble as in Amendment 1. That's from the Bill of Rights. Form a social compact, as in Article 1, Section 1 of Oregon's Constitution. Petition for redress of grievance. That's also the First Amendment. And form a civilian common law court of record, implement ex parte Milligan, and nullify martial law, Lieber Code, and FEMA. Form a jury pool with men and women with their bona fides in order. Call a grand jury and one appears and finds presentments and true bills. Call in Article 3, Amendment 7. One Supreme Court claiming original jurisdiction found in a common law jury. As the value is over $20, there are no judges involved, and the verdict has no appeal in fact. Our Oregon statewide Jural Assembly took all of those steps and more. Our social compact, Article 1, Section 1, is the provisional government on Oregon as of November 2022 and acquiesced to by the U.S. DOJ, U.S. Marshal Services, the FBI, the U.S. Marine Corps, the state of Oregon, the Salem oligarchy of executive, legislative, and judiciary, 36 sheriffs, 38 prosecutors, all signed, sealed, stamped, witnessed with proof of service, and published at www.orsja.org. Next, find unfettered service of counsel at www.orsja.org. Enter their court with a claim of cognizance. Notice, claim of cognizance. An intervention by a third party, Charlie White, is one of the people who are cognizant of the facts contained in a suit claiming a jurisdiction unanimously agreed to in Edict 2 of the 1776 Declaration, definition of civilian, of the people on the land or water or in the air, not a fictitious entity. There is a matter of jurisdiction. Tentere placida does not oust the other court of its jurisdiction, but only creates a concurrent one. The sovereign Oregonian, Ronald Charles Roman, the man, juris summi imperi, giving no jurisdiction, has rightful jurisdiction of the cause, which the persons in the de facto jurisdiction have commenced out of the sovereign Oregonian's de jure jurisdiction. This is between courts, not between any man and an Article 1 court, or an Article 7 amended or original court, or a municipal court, appellate, or Supreme Court, in, on, for, by State of Oregon, aka a subdivision of the United States of Washington District of Columbia, Inc., in some form. There are two additional types of claims of cognizance for the safety of the de jure people against a de facto for-profit court. The people are guaranteed an Article 3, Amendment 7 civilian common law court for a trial. We can provide that court if they cannot find their authority among their bona fides. And a notice and demand, and caveat to will, a demand that will be produced and probated in open court, an attack on the validity of alleged will, fulfilling the role of formal complaint as requested with the bill of particulars. And I yield.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. Then he jumps out of the car. And he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.